Hey, what's going on, guys? Ventus Deathwish here, and today I'm bringing you guys a discussion video on the DDs. This archetype's pretty cool, very pendulum heavy, which I do kind of like. I like the pendulum things. They're good. They're good. I enjoy it. Let's get started with this. So the first monster that they have is DD Knight Howling. It is a level 3 tuner monster with 300 attack and 600 defense. Its effect is, when this card is normal summon, you can target one DD monster in your graveyard, special summon that monster, but its attack and defense become 0, and you take 1000 damage when it is destroyed. Its second effect is, if you activate this effect, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except fiend type monsters. Now, this card has some very cool combos that you can pull off with it. I'll get to that later. Next card, DD Lilith. Level 4 Fiend monster. They're all Fiend, actually. 100 attack, 2100 defense. That's pretty good amount of defense. You can only use the effect of DD Lilith once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can act one of these effects. Target one DD monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand, or add that monster to your hand, rather. Or add one face-up DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. So, decent effects. Adding one from the graveyard is more of the better effect. Really good for just getting out pendulums faster, or getting pendulum summons out faster, rather. Next and final effect monster is DDD Kaiser the Conquest Overlord. This guy's really good. If this card is pendulum summoned, which you most likely will because it's a level 7 and you really don't tribute monsters in this deck, negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn, which is really good. Once per turn, if this card was pendulum summoned this turn, you can target one or two cards in your spell and trap card zone, destroy them, and if you do, this card gains one additional attack for each card destroyed by this effect during each battle phase this turn. Really good, because if you get like all 3 attacks through, if you destroy 2 in your spell and trap card zone, you can win the game, because that's like 8400 attack, and you kill your opponent. Next, moving into the pendulum monsters, which is really the only rest of the monsters for this. DD Magical Astronomer Kepler. It's a level 1 pendulum monster, so you can normal summon it, and its pendulum scale is 10, which is pretty high. You cannot pendulum summon monsters except DD. This is its pendulum effect, by the way. You cannot pendulum summon monsters except DD monsters. This effect cannot be negated. During each of your standby phases, reduce this card's pendulum scale by 2, minimum 1. I don't get that at all. It makes no sense. Then destroy all monsters you control whose levels are equal to or higher than this card's pendulum scale except DD monsters. So, pendulum effect, not too good. Monster effect is decent. You can only use this monster effect of DD Magical Astronomer Kepler once per turn. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate one of these effects. Target one other DD card you control, return it to the hand, or add one Covenant card from your deck to your hand. So it's really good for searching out the Covenant cards, which are the spell cards for this deck, and trap cards, sort of. There's only really one. Next monster is DD Cerebrus, level 4 pendulum monster, pendulum scale of 6. Its pendulum effect is, once per turn you can target one DD monster you control. Its level becomes 4, and if it does, it gains 400 attack and defense. Really good for making rank 4 plays, getting 101 out if needed. Not that you really make Xyz. You rarely make Xyz in the deck, but it's definitely a good effect to have. Plus the attack gain, you can make it get over some things. When this card is pendulum summoned from your hand, this is its monster effect, while you control a DD monster except DD Cerebrus, you can target one continuous spell card in your graveyard and add it to your hand, aka the Covenant cards. Next, DD Proud Chevalier, I don't know. Pendulum scale of 6, and its pendulum effect, it's a level 5, by the way. Its pendulum effect, once per turn you can pay 500 life points, target one face-up monster your opponent controls. That monster loses 500 attack. Unless you have a DD card in your other pendulum zone, this card's pendulum scale becomes 5. Monster effect is, when this card is normal summon, you can add one face-up dark pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. Pretty decent. There's a reoccurring theme with the DDs where if you don't have a DD monster in your other pendulum zone, its scale becomes 5. But you really do most of the time, so it's not too big of an issue. Next, DD Proud Ogre, one of the most badass looking Yu-Gi-Oh cards I've ever seen, by the way. Level 6, pendulum scale of 8, its Pendulum effect is once per turn you can pay 500 life points, then target one DD monster you control. It gains 500 attack. Unless you have a DD card in your other Pendulum zone, this card's Pendulum scale becomes 5. Its monster effect is really good though. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon one face-up Dark Pendulum monster from your extra deck. Its effects are negated. If you have activated this effect, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except DD monsters. That is really good. That's a really good effect because you can special summon some of the bigger monsters actually. And then next, DDD Leonidas, the Rebellious Overlord. Really, really good. One of the key cards in the deck. It's a Pendulum scale of 3 and it's a level 7. When you take effect damage, except during the damage step, you can destroy this card, and if you do, for the rest of this turn, effects that would inflict damage to a player increase your life points instead. That's not too big of a deal, except when you do destroy it, it gets sent to your extra deck instead of the graveyard, and it's really good against burn decks, but that's not really the point. Its point is the monster effect. When you take effect damage, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, gain life points equal to the damage you took. You take no effect damage while this card is in a monster zone. So again, really good against burn, and it's sort of like Gores in a way, because Gores has that one effect where it special summons itself when it takes effect damage. Next, one of the really good ones, DDD Hell Armageddon, the Cruel End Overlord. One of the craziest, most badass epic names ever. It's a Pendulum scale of 4, level 8, 3000 attack, 1000 defense. Its Pendulum effect is, once per turn you can target one DD monster you control. It gains 800 attack until the end of this turn, which is really, really good. And its monster effect, once per turn, if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can target one of those destroyed monsters. This card gains attack equal to the original attack of that target until the end of this turn. This card cannot attack directly during the turn you activate this effect. This card cannot be destroyed by spell or trap card effects that do not target it. So it can't be destroyed by Mirror Force, pretty much, and it can gain some crazy attack. Because if you, if like DDD Kaiser is destroyed, you can gain 2800 attack and have this thing become a 5800 beater, which is crazy. Next, final monster that has been revealed so far, well, main deck monster anyway, is a Pendulum scale of 1, level 10 monster, Pendulum monster. DD Magical Astronomer Galilei. Its Pendulum effect, you cannot Pendulum summon monsters except DD monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Same as Magical Astronomer. The other Magical Astronomer, I should say. During each of your standby phases, increase this card's Pendulum scale by 2, max 10. You can then destroy all monsters you control whose levels are lower than or equal to this card's Pendulum scale except DD monsters. You can only use its monster effect. You can only use this monster effect of DD Magical Astronomer Galilei once per turn. During either player's turn, you can discard this card, then target one DD or Covenant card you control returns to the hand. So, not too good, but pretty okay, I would say. Next for the spell cards, the Covenant cards. Covenant with the Hellgate. That name will definitely be changed, as well as Hell Overlord, because of like religious issues. This card's really, really good. During your main phase, you can add one DD monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Covenant with the Hellgate once per turn. During each of your standby phases, you take 1000 damage. That's kind of a bust, but Leonidas actually makes you gain that 1000, so you can do that. Also, it's a continuous spell, so every single turn this card stays on the field, you can add a different DD card, or TD monster, which is really good. Next, Covenant with the Swamp King. This relates to its fusion monster. You really only run one of these because it's not too good. During your main phase, you can fusion summon one Fiend-type fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials, and if you would fusion summon a DD fusion monster this way, which is usually what you do, you can also banish monsters from your graveyard as fusion materials. You can only use the effect of Covenant with the Swamp King once per turn. During each of your standby phases, you take 1000 damage. We'll get to the fusion monster in a little bit, but that's pretty decent of a card rather than using polymerization. Next, Covenant with the Valkyrie. You can send one DD card or Covenant card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one card on the field, destroy that target. You can only use this effect of Covenant with the Valkyrie once per turn. All Fiend-type monsters you control gain 1000 attack during your opponent's turn only. During each of your standby phases, you take 1000 damage. Not too good. The attack gain's really cool, and the destruction kind of pluses a lot of decks now, so it kind of really doesn't do much. Now for the actual DD trap cards. DDD Resource Management. Shuffle into the deck 3 DD cards total. Monsters from your hand, graveyard, face up from the field, and or DD cards in your Pendulum zones. Then add 2 DD monsters from your deck to your hand, which is pretty cool. It's sort of like, what's that, Breaking Light or something? Something light, I don't know, that usually run in Light Sworns a lot. Blinding Light or something? I cannot think of the name of that right now. But, that you definitely, it's kind of like that. So, yeah, and it's really good because you can add from your deck to your hand. Next, and finally, DD Recruit. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, target any number of DD monsters or Covenant cards in your graveyard up to your monster deficit. I'm not really sure what that means. I think that's up to the monsters you control. Add them to your hand. You can only activate 1 DDD Recruit once per turn. Sort of like that light card that I can't think of the name of again. Moving on to extra deck cards such as the Fusion Monster, which is where, right here, DDD Temujin, the Blaze Overlord. Level 6 Fusion, 2000 attack, 1500 defense. Requires 2 DD monsters to be fusion summoned into. If another DD monster is special summoned to your side of the field while you control this card, you can target 1 DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Not too bad, actually. You can only use this effect of DDD Tenjuin Blaze Overlord once per turn. If this card in your possession is destroyed by battle and in the graveyard, you can target 1 Covenant card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So pretty good. So it's a really good effect. The only downside is the attack is pretty low, because many decks have monsters with high attack, except Shadal's really, but not too bad. Target 1 DD monster and special summon it. Really good. It's sort of like Howling, but just without the downside of having its attack become nothing. Next for the Synchro Monster, 1 DD Tuner plus 1, DDD Alexander the Gale Overlord is called. Level 7, Synchro, 2500 attack, 2000 defense, 1 DD Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. If another DD monster is normal summoned or special summoned to your side of the field while you control this card, you can target 1 level 4 or lower DD monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Which is pretty good. You can only use the effect once per turn, but it's really good because you can just target Howling, which you would use as your tuner and special summon it, and then you can resynchro and get like Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Trees, and then, or you could target this guy, because when it's normal or special summon, you can activate one of these effects, and get monsters and so on and so forth. So it's a pretty good card. And then for the Xyz, DDD Caesar, the Wave Overlord, 2 level 4 fusion type monsters. Its effect is you can only use each effect. It's actually a water type monster, which is very strange. Its effect is you can only use each effect of DDD Caesar the Wave Overlord once per turn. During either player's turn, you can attach 1 Xyz material from this card. At the end of this turn's battle phase, special summon as many monsters from your graveyard as possible that were destroyed during this turn. And if you do, you take 1000 damage for each monster special summoned by this effect during the next standby phase. If this card is sent to the graveyard, from the field to graveyard rather, you can add 1 Covenant card from your deck to your hand. It's pretty much like a soul charge for monsters that were destroyed this turn. So if your opponent just like Shreks you with a Mirror Force, this card would be really, really good for you because you can just special summon a crap load. But then, yeah, it's pretty much just like soul charge. I mean, and that's really it for the monsters. So hope you guys did enjoy. Actually, I want to show you guys the one crazy combo with this. DD Knight Howling is really, really cool. Not that you'd ever do this, but you could actually do this with, you can actually breakthrough skill this after you special summon it. So that way the monster gains its full attack and everything, and when it's destroyed, you don't take 1000 damage. So it's kind of cool how it works that way. And if your opponent's life points are down pretty far, you can actually win the game that way. But the reason I said you never do this, I was gonna say you could use Skill Drain, but that'd be kind of pointless when you can use Breakthrough. But Skill Drain would just keep letting you have that attack boost or normal attack. Pretty much like you're just specially summoning with like Call of Hornet or something. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I'll have a discussion video the other maybe tomorrow about the new Fernimal archetype, and then I'll do Necloths and then Sacred Beast. So pretty much everything that's coming out in new challengers, I'll be covering. So hope you guys did enjoy. Like I said before, if you did, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. This has been Ventus Deathwish here, signing out.